Hey everybody, it's Krista here again, and I finally sat myself down and did some videos, and I still having a rough time just trying to figure out what exactly to talk about. I want to talk about books. I read a lot of books. I buy a lot of books, but I'm just having trouble just wanting to communicate and talk about them. But I really miss doing the videos, and it's been a long time, and I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and they inspire me on my book buying habits and whatnot. So okay, so I thought maybe I would just talk. I'm going to ramble for a little bit, talk about myself, how I rate books, how I buy books, and if you want to ask me some questions or, I don't know, give me some videos to record. I put some stuff together that I'm going to be putting up, and we're going to see how this goes, because I really miss the community, so... And I really just want to talk about books, but have a hard time framing my words. Communication is not one of my best skills. Okay, so as far as rating books go, I don't really have a system. I'm gonna rate a book according to like books. So if I read a middle grade adventure story, I'm going to compare it to a different middle grade adventure story that I read. And, you know, check out the writing and compare overall themes and whatnot to the other book. I'm not really going to compare a middle grade contemporary story to an adult horror novel. You know, if I really enjoy this adult horror novel and I really enjoyed this adventure kid story, they're still going to get 5 stars. But when it comes down to like comparing 5 stars to 5 stars, I'm not going to try to compare those two, because this is good for its genre, for its grade level, the writing style, and this is good for its own, in my opinion. So, you know, I have this one. This is an adult horror that's more like Stephen King stuff. You know, it's got some adult subjects in it. And this one, which is a young adult fantasy magical book, which I would compare more to the Lord of the Rings. You know, it's just got their different styles, their different things, and so I just wouldn't compare these to each other. So if I were reading two, you know, kind of mystery suspense books written for the same age and the same group of people, you know, these are two books that I would probably compare to each other, as far as writing style and storytelling and whatnot. Sometimes every once in a while I'll come by a series that, you know, maybe the writing style isn't that good, but it really grabbed my attention, pulled me into the story. I want to tell people about it. I want to talk about it. For example, the Twilight series, I'm going to put it out there. I enjoyed it. It's something that I want to reread. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't like it, or they disagree with something in it. And I'm fine with that. It was just a story that I want to read again. I was glued to the pages. I really enjoy it. And so I gave it a high rating, because to me it meant something to me in a different way. Like, some people like to nitpick different parts of stories, you know, about the relationship and all that. But sometimes when I just really enjoyed a story, I just want to say overall, I enjoyed this book and I recommend it and I loved it. And so it's really hard to say, because you always just have these ones that you just don't want to give 2 or 3 stars to, because you really enjoyed the story and you want people to read it, and then they can form their own opinion. But so there's always those types of books that I come across that I enjoy. As far as my book buying habits is, I'll buy anything and everything that sounds good. Now, I do like lower my standards sometimes when it comes to a book that I'm not sure about, but it's on sale. I find it used and it sounds interesting enough that I'll buy it. And then, you know, sometimes when I rate a book, I think about, was this worth my money? And I don't think about, was it worth my dollar? I think about, is it worth paying full price for? Is this something I would recommend you go out and buy? And so how much I pay for a book doesn't really come into my star rating of what it is. It's really just the content of the book. But that does differ on one thing, and that's self-published titles that sell for kind of low prices or are available on subscription or something. So sometimes I think, because those prices vary all the time, so it's hard to say, yes, this was worth my money, when at the time, who knows if you paid $6 or $1 for it. So sometimes that does go into consideration when I read a self-published book. It does go into consideration how much I personally paid for it, because I do feel like, you know, it's not something that everybody's talking about. It's not a book you can read and then talk to somebody else about unless you recommend it and you guys want to read it together. So it does, how much you pay for it kind of does play into that, in my opinion, as far as the ratings go. And I do read a lot of self-published books. My website, Cubicle Blindness, that focuses mostly on self-published authors. And so, yeah, I read a lot of the books and I recommend it on, you know, how they're putting it out there and what they're, you know, wanting for it. So it's just really hard to say. You know, as far as book buying goes, I look a lot for sales. I look to see what people are talking about on YouTube. I always have a wish list. I always have a TBR list. And I like to participate in, you know, blogging. So if sometimes like Reading Teen will say, hey, who wants to review my books? And I'll be like, yeah, hey, I want to review that book. So I jump at opportunities all the time to get access to books. I'm on subscriptions lists, got my local library, I go to sales. I'm constantly going around to the different charity shops or whatnot and seeing what they have. I'm just always have my eye out on everything. So I buy anything and everything. I don't have a limit. I do try to consider, okay, how likely am I really to read this book and how likely am I not? And then there's sometimes when you just have a bad day and you just want to go make yourself feel better. And so you buy things that make you feel good. So then I end up with a lot of books that I just really don't think I'm going to get to, but you know, it's got a really pretty cover and I think that's cute and maybe I want it. So there's a little bit about me, and I know it's not much, and you know, if you guys have any questions or would like me to clarify anything that I said, you know, these are just all my personal takes on how I have my library, which is unsorted and it's a mess, and it's just whatever book fits into the right spot. It's like Tetris or Legos sometimes. My shelves are just there. So, anyway, I thought I'd start with this little video. Hope I didn't upset anybody. I really didn't intend to. I'm just rambling, and these are things that I do. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.